This is the God of the gaps argument used for ghosts. For the God of the gaps argument, what that means is if you don't know what something is, then obviously God did it at that point. So if when you use it for ghosts, I don't know what happened in this spooky old house, so it must have been a ghost. It's never that cranky old man Jensen, and we would have gotten away with it too if you darn kids hadn't meddled with it. Okay, so you were going to say something before I cut you off.
Was it for each one discuss why you think you could use it for ghost hunting, and how would you calibrate it to know if it's a ghost or not detecting a ghost? And
This is a basic rule of thumb for technicians, for engineers. If you take your piece of electronics and you're working with a piece of test equipment, something's gone wrong. The first thing you do is you test your test equipment to make sure that it's working correctly. If you don't test your test equipment, if you just use it to test the broken piece of electronics, you get bamboozled. You could have it on the wrong setting. You could have blown a fuse in your test equipment. Someone else could have used it and broken it and put it back on your desk and not tell you about it. This has happened. So, like Richard said, the first thing you do is you test your own equipment. I have never seen anyone calibrate their own ghost hunting equipment, whether it be a digital camera or a tape recorder. Now, analog tape. Back in the 80s, I was interested in ghost hunting with all of my friends. We took an analog tape recorder that was probably twice this size, and we snuck out to a graveyard in the middle of the night, and we put it on a gravestone and put it on record. And we came back about 2 hours later and picked it up and took it home and spent all night listening to it and freaking ourselves out because we heard some really freaky stuff on that tape. The explanation at the time was that ghosts are able to manipulate the electromagnetic. And what they would do is when they spoke, their voice would be electromagnetically imposed onto the tape itself. And since it was imposed onto the tape, if we would play it back, it would come through. In fact, a lot of ghost hunters said you don't even need to have the microphone in it. Just disconnect the microphone and let it run, and you'll get ghost voices. They were right. But the reason why is because electronics are inherently noisy. Tapes are inherently noisy. If you erase a tape and you reuse it, not all of the audio on that tape goes away. If you play it back and you crank up the volume, you hear the noise that's left over on the tape. You hear the electronic noise that is part of the system. You're amplifying the system. It's like turning your TV to an empty channel. You get snow. And if you look at that snow long enough, you'll see shapes in it.